The history makers joined forces with Franklin Institute, the Color of Science program, to bring an array of great black male scientists for all to enjoy. For years, we learned about guys like Lewis Latimer, who invented the filament in the light bulb. But to be in the midst of the greatest current minds is incredible. Here's some of the conversations I had with some of the super scientists of today.
My name is Albert Hicks. I am a local physician here in the Philadelphia area. I'm actually from Philadelphia. I went to college at Howard University, where I received my undergraduate in health management. Then I went to Temple University back in Philadelphia to receive my medicine degree. I also received my master's in public health at Temple as well. Currently a chief medicine resident at Hahnemann Hospital, and in July I'll be starting my cardiology fellowship at Johns Hopkins. Now, I thought that for me, science was extremely important growing up, and I think it's vital for us to understand our environment and each other with science. Science helps to explain that to some extent, but also gives you an appreciation for what is being done around the country, what's being done on a global level, and even an interstellar level, and many times in a micro level. I think it's important to get more exposure to students like myself to get involved in the sciences. You don't see many people that look like us in the sciences, and I got exposure through a program at the Franklin Institute when I was 10 or 11, and without that I can't say that I would be here. I may be a lawyer, which is great, but I enjoy what I do every day. I enjoy waking up in the morning, and when you enjoy what you do, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Now we'll meet a couple engineers who are doing incredible things.
Yes. Hi, this is Darryl Williams. I am a chemical engineer with a focus on nanobiotechnology, and I think that young students of color should get into the sciences because it's an opportunity to really make an impact and to really affect and change and make change in the world. You can, just as an individual, make such a major contribution, and just by using your God-given talent and that brain power that you have. So don't be afraid to try science, and especially don't be afraid to try engineering. Don't just focus necessarily on science, but engineering. Because as an engineer, you get to problem solve, you get to design, and use those critical thinking skills to, again, make such an impact on the world.
Tell me about your education and your current title.
My education is chemical engineering. My current title is Dr. Darryl Williams, and I work at the National Science Foundation in the Division of Research on Learning in Informal and Formal Settings.
It's not every day you get to speak to the guy who's responsible for the Mars rover?
So I'm Edward Tunstall, Dr. Edward Tunstall. I have a PhD in electrical engineering and a master's degree and a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. I work at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in their space department. I also worked at NASA for 18 years before that at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. And both of these organizations are places that send spacecraft away from our planet and into deep space to other planets like Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and so on, and also to the asteroids. What I do now is I work mostly on Mars rovers. I help design them and help to program the computer intelligence that allows them to do their missions. We send commands to these robots. There are 2 on Mars right now, working since 2003, for over 6 years now. And they're exploring the surface of Mars and sending back scientific data to scientists on Earth. And we've learned a whole lot from these robots, mainly that water used to run on the surface of Mars many years ago. In order to get into this type of field, you have to study math and science. Pay attention to particular types of math that you like and particular types of science. There's all different types of science. There's geology, there's physics, there's chemistry, all sorts of things. All of these things come into play in the work that I do. I'm not a specialist in all those. I'm a specialist in engineering. And so all of these different fields have to come together. But we need a lot of different students who can come together and learn all the different parts of it. I'm sure you'll find something that you actually like to do. So check it out, pay attention to your classes in terms of math and the science material, as well as the other subjects. But the math and the science are things that will allow you to launch yourself into these types of careers. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys help us figure out how to get humans to the surface of Mars, as well as robots to other places that we haven't figured out yet.
So in an indirect way, can we say you're the first brother on Mars?
In an indirect way, you can say that.
With over 250 patents to his name, this 80-year-old icon invented the microphone that's in everybody's cell phone.
Okay, I'm James West. I'm on the faculty at Johns Hopkins University in mechanical and electrical and computer engineering. And at Johns Hopkins, besides teaching, I do research. Many years ago, the opportunities for especially black people in science just wasn't there. When I told my father that I did not want to go to med school, that physics was far more interesting, he told me that I was taking the long route to working in the post office on the railroad. And he actually introduced me to people with PhDs in chemistry and other fields who were indeed doing that, and they were working on the railroad and in the post office because companies and universities would not hire black people. In fact, Elijah McCoy is a very good example. Elijah McCoy, and this is many years ago, when his father and he had saved enough money for him to go to school, he had to go to England because no school in this country in engineering would accept him, okay? But those days have gone. We're in a new era, and we're in a new era because many of us have fought to blaze the trail to open the doors for the future. And the future is yours. So remember, science is important. Listen to what the president has said about your need to study and understand technology so that you can improve the quality of life on this planet. And I charge you with that responsibility. Good luck, and I hope to see you at a university and eventually in press for having made tremendous contributions to improving the quality of life for people.
This young professor makes robots that imitate humans and is on the leading edge of making games for the Android phones.
That's a simulation that we did. So this was some work that we do. So robotics is for the real world is very similar to doing physics in the virtual world. And so this is some work that we did with simulating and controlling humanoid structures for video games. So this is real time. So all these results are happening at 30 frames a second. So this is us just controlling it with the mouse. And so really what that is just basic Newtonian physics that we've programmed in that executes in real time. So a lot of the games that you see, so if you play something like Angry Birds, I don't know if you guys play Angry Birds or not, or even heard of Angry Birds, I don't know. Yeah. Right, or anything like that, that's all physics based. And so, but in that case, everything is passive. There's no motor forces that occur. In our case, we have motor forces, so we need their character to stay upright and balanced, so we actually have to simulate those forces too. So that's what we're doing in that one. You can actually it actually sits on the App Store. You can get physical simulators readily available, download that, and do things like this, you know, in the space of minutes. To understand what's going on underneath, you have to learn about math and physics and computer programming, which takes a lot of time, you know. But you know, with the internet though, you don't necessarily have to go to you should go to a 4-year college and learn about these things because that's the best way to get instruction. But a lot of these topics are on the internet, so if you want to learn how to do physical simulation like we're doing here, you can learn about it on the internet. There's actually great notes and great tutorials that you can learn. Although to understand those notes, sometimes you need some physics and mathematics behind you. So this is the Parrot Air Drone Quad Rotor Helicopter. I was controlling it by Wiimote. I have a Wiimote over here, but that wasn't working earlier today. But I had it working. But now I'm just going to control it off my computer. I can make it go forward, to the left, to the right, to the back, forward, make it stop. Whoops. I'm not as good with the keyboard, but I think you get the point. I'm going to land it. So this